UFC Winnipeg, we got Burns, we got Malott, we got a lot of Canadian fighters. We're also going to talk PFL at the end. We got PFL Belfast on Thursday. So if you're watching this after Thursday, you're going to be able to judge us and leave us some comments in the comment section. We got our parlay buster and our woulda, coulda, shoulda. As always, we do our most significant strikes contest, and kind of interesting because a weird fight in the main event last time, and the winner ended up being like way low, like yes, 20 strikes. That ended up being the closest to 41 significant strikes in the main event. So congratulations, Nick. Send me your Wager Talk username, and you're going to get a free 3-day pass. Congratulations on that. And as always, the contest every week is how many significant strikes will be landed in the main event. Put your answer in the comment section after the show. And whoever wins gets a free 3-day pass. We're coming off a pretty good, not pretty good, great performance for clients last week. So let's see if we can keep the momentum going here. And we're going to start in PFL and scroll to the bottom here. Let's get the dirty ones out of the way. Let's make people check the time codes to go see what we think in the main event. We'll start with Siraj and Yannis. Jim, you said you really don't have much in there.
Nothing of value, no. No, if you got something, go for it, buddy.
Yeah, I think Yannis is a real tomato can here. I like Siraj quite a bit. This guy's 9-4, and it could be worse. This guy's knocking out Nick Aguirre in the fourth round. I had forgotten that he actually made his UFC debut, and Austin Bashi runs through him, and it actually is a lot worse when you watch it. It was like really not competitive. And Jamie Siraj he's kind of a legit fighter. Like he's only got a couple losses here, loses in a brutal spinning wheel kick, but he comes back and gets a couple wins. I question the quality of those wins, but what's he supposed to do? Not take fights or lose these? So he comes back and win. And whenever we're in Canada or some of these other places, you see some of these, Canadian or wherever fighters get on cards that would normally not have a chance in UFC or that were on the fringe of getting in the UFC. It's okay. We like him. He's in Canada. Yeah, we'll give him a shot. I'll get to a guy who I think gets smoked, a Canadian, but I think Siraj runs through Yannis. I think this could surprisingly be an ass kicking. So it's Siraj for me. You're gonna have to lay juice on it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Siraj makes this really, really look easy. I don't think Giannis can stop takedowns, and Siraj is just going to be a little bit better everywhere. So, all right, move on to John Castaneda versus Mark Vologdin. What do you make of this one?
Well, this I do have an opinion on. I have never been sold on John Castaneda at all. He is the epitome of a fighter who leaves you wanting more in wins and losses. Every single time this guy steps in the ring, you expect him to be way better than what you're going to actually get here. Dropping 2 decisions in a row to decision guys. All right, you could say, he's got a good chin, he can go the distance, yada, yada, yada. I just don't think there's any firepower coming from the Castaneda direction. That's my big problem with him, is that losing these decisions, there's never moments. There's never moments that are enough to win a round. And if he does have a moment, he tends to give his opponent a moment in that round for the judges to have doubt. You can't give the judges doubt. You need to put your stamp on rounds. He's very bad at taking that last 30 seconds to put a stamp on a round. If it's a close round, you very rarely see him go for that timely takedown at the end of a round and win a round. We just don't see it. And to me, that just shows low fight IQ and, again, a mediocre skill set. Vologdin, coming off Dana White's Contender Series in the fight of the year, what a fight that was. We had a blast watching that fight. And do you remember what we said after that fight?
Yeah.
They're going to sign both of these guys, and we're going to bet against them because the amount of damage taken. Now, that being said, I love the fact that this goes back to October of 2025 when this fight was. So, to me, it's enough time for him to come back. This is a lot of talk for saying that I don't have a bet on this fight. I'm going to pick Vologdin, But if he loses this fight, I'm going to put him instantly in the category that Francisco Prado will go, which is you're just not built correctly for this weight class. He is a small guy. So if I see him get manhandled by Castaneda, we pretty much know where we're going to go in the future with Vologdin, is that if he can't compete physically, he's at a big disadvantage more than normal. So I'll pick Vologdin because I'm not a fan of Castaneda, but this is more of a look ahead to the next fight for me for both these guys.
I agree with you on Castaneda. Yeah, you're like, can you get over the hump? Can you just can you get a couple rounds? I'm with you. I'm terrified of the damage that he absorbed, and the fact is he did lose it. Showed a lot of toughness and such. I will lean with Castaneda, but my money's getting nowhere near this fight. I'll just lean Castaneda just because of the experience factor. And sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of times when Dana signs guys just because they had exciting fights. Remember Angel Pacheco?
It's a great point.
Turned out to be awful. And it just turned out it was two mediocre guys who just were at the same skill set level. So it looked exciting and it wasn't really that technical. I think this could fall into that. Castaneda, split decision with Gutierrez. Gutierrez does that. I'm a fan of Daniel Marcos, loses to Marcos. Gets a win over Kang, who I'm pretty high on, gets a win over Gaforov, and then just eats a bad knee. But he's got some pretty decent wins. I can't tell you what he does great because I don't think he does anything great. I just think he's going to maybe put on a little bit of a veteran performance. Maybe he does get the takedown here or there. Maybe he's just a little bit slicker and quicker than Vologdin. And I'm with you, man. Those T-Rex arms, and Vologdin is a shorter guy. And maybe Castaneda can just stay out of the way of those shots because Martinetti on Contender Series certainly couldn't stay out of the way. And that's the other thing about Contender Series when you have these big, brutally violent fights is they know what they have to do on Contender Series. You need to get a finish. So some of these guys understand the assignment and they're like, we're just going for broke. And you end up with these, wars. Castaneda doesn't have to do. They have to stand toe to toe and get all these huge shots absorbed to him. So I'll lean Castaneda, but I can't say it's a very, confident one that I'll be betting. There's just much better spots on the card. Move on to Mitch Raposo and Alan Nascimento. Where do you land on this one?
To me, it's Nascimento all day. The size and the physicality of Nascimento is going to be a nightmare for Raposo. Reason being is that Raposo does nothing but scoot around the outside of the cage and not throw a lot of volume. The second that he's back against the cage and Nascimento gets his hand on him, he's going down. He's going to the ground, and Nascimento will get into a dominant position. I'm not going to fall for it that he beats Maxim. We kind of had as that Maxim pegged as I think people think he's better than he really is. Of course, you bet him against Raposo. He proved that he could be a ball dropper. I just think it's one-way traffic for me. I don't see the striking from Raposo causing damage to Nascimento. If everything goes fine on the scales and makes weight, I see one takedown is all that's going to be needed to this fight. He will find his way to the back, and it will be a short night for Mitch Raposo.
Yeah, it's really weird because you can't really say Nascimento is this awesome wrestler, brutal takedown, great double legs, and gets some. But then you just look, and it's like chokes out Cody Durden, wins against Philo, and Philo's a good grappler.
That's a huge win too.
That's a great win. That was a guy that's got a similar style as him, and he got him. Chokes out Carlos Hernandez, wins against Hadley, split loss against Tajir. That's good. I mean, that's your only blemish in your UFC debut. By hook or by crook, he just gets there. He's just a master at what he does. He just knows how to win. And sometimes when you see these guys, you're like, well, he's playing with fire because he can't wrestle and he depends on, the control. But he's 34. Doesn't seem like he's slowing down. I'm with you. I'm not really sure. Is Raposo the better striker? Probably, because Nascimento doesn't strike. He doesn't really care to strike, but he just throws a lot of kicks, closes a distance. And Raposo's another one. Got the shorter arms. Nascimento's length is going to be there. I think I think somehow Nascimento gets to the back, it gets on the ground, and I'm with you. Nascimento ends up winning this one. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Raposo's got pretty decent cardio. He can fight hands for a while, so I'm not saying Nascimento gets the sub. I'm not going to be surprised if he gets a sub, but I'm with you. I'm not sure what Raposo's path to victory is because I just don't think he's going to keep this on the feet for 3 rounds. If you were to tell me, oh, this is a 3-round fight on the feet, yeah, Raposo, absolutely. But I just don't think it stays there. So I'm with you. Nascimento is the play. Moving on to another Canadian, JJ Aldrich and Jamie Lynn Horth. Horth, I'll be honest, I can't believe she's not minus 300. I'm stunned that Jamie Lee Horth is not a bigger favorite. Why do you think this line is as close? Am I missing something?
I'm in the same camp as you, so I can't say that you're missing something.
We missing something?
We missing something. Yes, let's go in as a group, shall we? The only way that I could see JJ winning this fight is if Jamie can't dictate the space. Only way Aldrich wins the striking is if she dictates where this fight is taking place. The second that she hits the cage, she has to circle off. She has to be at long range to win the striking battle. Other than that, we've seen this script with JJ Aldrich. She loses because she can't match the physicality of her opponents. That's the problem. And honestly, even Veronica Hardy, it wasn't like that was a big physical advantage, but she was able to do what she had to do using the wrestling to do what she had to do against JJ. Now you're going to bring in Jamie, who's much bigger, much stronger, much grittier. I just think Horth has a massive physicality advantage. And in women's MMA, we don't need somebody to be a 10th level black belt to get a takedown or a All-American wrestler. It's just a matter of who's stronger and who wants it more. I think it's Horth. It's probably Horth by decision. JJ always tends to stay safe. If you don't like the Horth number, I would not be afraid to just take Horth by decision. Very hard to finish JJ Aldrich. She's a vet.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed by the striking of Horth in the last 2. I know this went the distance. Man, she beat up Demopoulos.
Yeah.
And she really showed her length advantage in that one. Teresa Bleda, she showed great sprawl and wrestling at the very beginning, and then Bleda was gassed on the first takedown, and then she bloodied up Bleda really, really good. It's like, okay, there's some real power. There's like the damaging power behind those shots. We know she can clinch, and she's going to be bigger than JJ Aldrich. And I truly can't believe JJ Aldrich on paper has won 3 out of 4. Like, Andrea Lee has just turned out to be, I don't say a disappointment, but man, no, I mean, Andrea Lee threw nothing, no volume whatsoever, let her off the hook. She loses to Veronica Hardy. There's a physical fighter. I mean, Montana De La Rosa and Na Liang, what are we doing? So what's crazy
I think
is
all
that
3 of those women are gone, by the way. We haven't seen Andrea Lee since. De La Rosa's
yeah,
gone.
Rosa's
So's
gone.
Na
Na Liang's gone. Yeah, it's crazy that, I mean, it goes down paper. She has a win over Jillian Robertson, different version of Jillian Robertson. But I think once Jamie Lynn Horth feels the lack of power in the strikes of JJ Aldrich, I think she goes, I can, these aren't going to hurt me at all. I'm going to walk through those and either get the clinch and takedown, or I'm going to land the strikes. But I actually think Horth striking is going to be a pretty serious, kind of a sneaky weapon that I don't know most people realize how good her striking has gotten on the feet. So those long arms, those jabs, I think do some pretty good damage. So I love Horth at the price. Really, really surprised. So we move on to Melissa Croden. All right, is Andy going to try it? Is Andy going to try and pronounce Daria's last name?
Let's see if
is
he
Andy
today.
going to try it? Melissa Croden fights Daria in a UFC bantamweight fight. So no way I'm butchering that one. Let's get to the breakdown. Croden, Daria, what do you think?
Well, I think that Daria Zheleznyakova.
Oh man, are you good?
I don't know what to make of this girl, man. 10-2. This is a fight that I have pegged, and you know what? I'm not even going to bother with like an X's and O's. Let me tell you how I'm going to bet this fight. Okay, because the bottom line is we have two women's fighters that don't light the world on fire. I don't think any of us are running to the window with Melissa Croden and Daria tickets over the past 3 years, okay? Croden needs to win the first 2 rounds. If this goes to round 3 and you have a question about round 2, the smart thing is going to be to have plus money on Daria because Croden's cardio is a problem. She's a big girl. She cuts a lot of weight. That round 3, if we get there, I would think is going to be Daria's round. So if I have any doubt in the second round that this becomes a classic 1-1, if I see anything from Daria to make me think that, well, you know, say she gets that takedown with 30 seconds left. Say there's a nosebleed. Say there's a cut from the first round that's still bleeding in round 2. I'm going to look for any reason to bet Daria at a really good plus number. You need to have great plus money in this fight to make a bet either way, in my opinion. This is super sketchy. It's a live bet for me. See if the cardio of Croden can check out.
Yeah, this is a tough one. This is kind of I don't know why you would have your money tied up in this fight. X's and O's. Daria's got these really long arms. Like they're kind of surprising when she throws them. They go kind of a long ways out. She's just got this. I'll just say the Nate Diaz skin. Mm-hmm. It just bleeds. I don't think it's from scar tissue. I just think she's got weak skin because she's just bleeding immediately. like not even like getting her ass kicked. It just look, Daria's bleeding.
Botox.
I don't know what it is, but it's just like her face is bleeding. So like she doesn't wear damage well, which, as you've pointed out, is a real problem now. We see the announcers and the judges going, well, you know, damage. And it was like, well, that cut was, you know, from earlier. So can Croden do the damage? Yeah, I don't think it's going to take too much, too many strikes to get it down. That being said, Daria will walk forward and put the pressure on you. And like you said, Croden's gas tank's a little bit of a question. I worry about trying to save this for a live bet because the feed that we're on is behind. Mm-hmm. If I have to make a bet, it's probably going to be Daria. I think the odds, are decent because I just don't like. I watched Croden get the top position and finish Lisboa, but then I watched Luana Santos really control her. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, maybe Croden's not that amazing at the UFC level with the control. So they're probably both going to strike. And I just like I like the long arms and the jabs of Daria. Maybe she snaps Croden's head back a few times. So, and like you said, we have the cardio advantage if this gets to the third round. So pre-fight Daria, but am I betting on it pre-fight? No way. So, all right. A guy that you know, is it Saricam?
Yeah.
How do you pronounce Saricam?
Saricam.
Saricam versus Tanner Boser making his triumphant UFC return. Fascinating. Did not think we would see Tanner Boser ever again, but here he is in all of his glory. What do you make of this fight?
So let's go down the Tanner Boser rabbit hole, shall we?
Tanner Boser.
This is a guy who's always been underwhelming when he was in the UFC. We actually loved to bet against Tanner Boser, and it made us some money. He gets this win against OSP. Was that when OSP was essentially taking fights just to take fights? Remember, he won a fight. He was going to retire, and then he went and won a fight and had to fight again.
Don't remind me. He was ready to retire, and then he won. Because Kennedy's a dipshit.
Because Kennedy's a dipshit, which we know now. Hindsight being 20/20, we know that we never bet on Kennedy. That's besides the point. Tanner Boser can't wrestle. Tanner Boser has no power. Tanner Boser really can't take a punch anymore. Tanner Boser's been fighting chumps since he got out of the UFC.
One fight.
Mm-hmm. In 2025. Before that, we're going back to 2023. Gokam Saricam can wrestle. He can strike.
Okay.
He has a gas tank. Not the best gas tank, but I just think there's way more firepower from the Saricam side. I remember watching this guy in Bellator and the PFL, and I'm not going to say he's some great finished product, but if Tanner Boser doesn't finish this guy, and if Tanner Boser doesn't wrestle him for 2 rounds, how the hell is he winning this fight? The bigger moments are going to come from Saricam. I'm going with him. The Fade Tanner Boser train is back in the station. It has been recommissioned and will be going out for use this weekend. So I will continue to fade Tanner Boser.
I'm going. This is the weird fight. This line.
Decision.
Yes. Sketchy decision. I don't understand the line here. Tanner Boser's only plus 136 against a guy who's just, winning and winning and winning. And who's his only loss to recently? Popoff, who's the, PFL, won the PFL title. Mm-hmm. So here's what I watched from Tanner Boser. The guy couldn't pick a weight class. He's like, I'll try this one. I'll try this one. He's like the who are the brothers that lose? The
Tafas.
The Tafas. Yeah. Like pick a weight class you can lose in. Well, I lost in that one. I'll go try another one. So by the time he's done with his UFC career, he's like way thinner than he was when he started. And I just think that kind of messes with you a little bit. There was the story that he got cut from UFC, not for fighting reasons, but like for other reasons. And then hasn't come to terms with other promotions, even though they've offered him like certain ones. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's the story. This guy that he fought, where it was just like old and tired. But I will say this: he got taken down in the first round. He got up and the guy got gassed, and he ends up getting the finish. It wasn't a great look, but it was a lot more fight than I'd seen from him in previous UFC fights. What if he's had time off, his body's healed up, he's finally in a weight class that he feels a little bit comfortable in, and what if he's just got a little bit of gas left in the tank, and like Saricam, he's 35 with 13 pro fights. Like he was caught in this Bellator like contract situation where now what he's
this up. I'm glad
he's fighting in Fair FC and the cage MMA against these bums where his fights last just a couple minutes. How do we know this guy's gas tank is there? I'm not sold. There's something I have pegged about the Saricam. I'm happy to look really dumb, but we have these stupid fights every single week. The guy won the championship belt last week on a blown out knee and is probably going to have to vacate it. Like Melissa Gatto got knocked unconscious on an illegal kick, and they made her just start fighting again. Like
You're
weird
right.
things
It's every week.
Every week there are weird things. So I feel like I need to try and throw some weird predictions in there. I will say that this is one of the weird fights where the first round the guy does wrestle Boser, and Boser looks terrible. And then all of a sudden the second round, Boser lands a couple shots. He's moving around, and all of a sudden, your second round, you're like, God, is this 1-1? Why is Saricam getting tired and Boser's still got some energy left? I will pick Tanner Boser as this is the weird fight of the night. So I'm happy to be wrong, but do not be surprised if Saricam blows this one. You're like, I can't believe Tanner Boser's back in the UFC and just won a fight. So I have no X's and O's.
There's no X's and O's needed.
It's just offensive vibe. If this is the weird, this could be the weird fight. So, all right, Robert Valentin against Julian LeBlanc. Where did you land on this fight?
This is my weird fight right here. Boy, everybody loves themselves some Robert Valentin, and I got to tell you, so do I. I think this Julian is not even close to a real fighter.
He's terrible, man.
He is absolutely terrible. Terrible. We should be backing up the truck to Valentin and laying as much money as we can on it. The line doesn't make sense to me that it's not that way. I hate the fact that every single person is on Valentin. And we're going to get to another fight where I think everybody's on that I'm worried about. Because, again, these are the weird things. It seems that the things that everybody's on are what's going down in flames. The Johnny Walker and Dom Reyes fight, not to go the distance. Free parlay leg, right, everybody?
It happens. We got to sniff them out.
How
We
do you
got to try
explain
and
this stuff?
we got to try and sniff some of this stuff out, and I don't know how, but we're trying.
The Josh Hokett and Curtis Blades fight goes the distance. How many live bets on fight ends by KO were there? It just never happened. Just two zombies. This seems to me like it's just too many people on one side for me. And this Julian Leblanc could just really ruin everybody's day. I will pick Valentin. I am not betting him. I'm just flat out not betting him. This guy, keep in mind, has 0 wins in the UFC. Just keep that in mind.
This is
Tell us
the
how
guy.
bad he is. Yeah,
He's awful. This is the classic guy. The only reason he's fighting on this card is because he's polarizing in Canada. Like, most of us have never heard of him, and then you find out, oh, this guy's actually really polarizing in Canada, and so that's why he's on the card. He chokes out a guy that's 6-9. Darian Weeks is winning, and this LeBlanc lands one shot that has a bad cut. It was a bad cut. Was it stop the fight? I didn't think so. And Darian Weeks rightfully loses his shit and is just like throwing a fit. And it did seem fishy that they stopped it. I've seen worse cuts that they didn't stop the fight for. So I get 2 pretty questionable wins, and he's just fighting a whole lot of nobodies. This is one of my favorite. Damian Lopoulos, I believe, appears a couple times on this card as opponents. I've never seen more missed anti-doping. I mean, this guy just kept going.
I already got busted once. I mean, what's another one? What's another one?
Another one and another one. He's like, yeah, DJ Khaled. So he loses them. He's probably on the juice. Gets a chance in LFA, promptly loses that one to a 3-1 guy. He's awful. He's not strong. He's not powerful. What does he do well? I'm not really sure. Promote himself, I guess. He's got some, okay striking, but I can't say his takedown's good. And for Valentin, I mean, it could not have gone worse for him in UFC. And the 2 fights they gave him were here's my conspiracy theory, Jim. Okay. He looks incredible. He looks so good on The Ultimate Fighter that he knocked the guys out so quick that they just turned him into kind of a coach on that season. Ryan Loder is an incredible wrestler, and Valentin not a great wrestler. Okay, so Ryan Loder looks as best as Ryan Loder has. So they're like, okay, you lost an Ultimate Fighter, and wrestling's not your strong point. We'll give you Torres Finney. That's all he can do. Finney takes him down, but is so bad, a judge gives Valentin the fight because he did some damage from the bottom. And so then you're thinking to yourself, okay, he's lost 2 straight. They're going to give him a winnable fight. Here's Gaudier. So they give you 2 world-class wrestlers and then one of the scariest strikers. Those are your UFC fights? I think they felt bad. Look who they tried to give him next.
I was hoping you were going to touch on this. Yeah.
I think they felt bad. I think they were like, man, we really screwed this guy over. He was great on The Ultimate Fighter, and we literally gave him 2 guys that specialize in what he can't do well, and then a stone-cold murderer. So, how do you go from Gaudier to Jackson McVeigh as your – okay, so this fight gets canceled. They're like, Robert, we got you. We do not want you to lose 4 in a row. Here's Julian LeBlanc. I am the opposite of you, Jim. I have other fights that terrify me. This one does not, because there's a lot of plays that a lot of people are on. This is the one that does not scare me. I have no reservations. His striking is better. He's violent, and this LeBlanc ain't going to be able to wrestle him. He's not a wrestler, and he's not a striker like Gaudier, Finney, and Loder. It's Robert Valentin. I love this one. This one I have bet with my own money. So all these fights I've saying I haven't bet, I am betting this one. But I understand your trepidation because we got to pick some weird fights and weird results. We're in Canada. So All right, we move on to Dennis Buzukja. Marcio Barbosa, who we know well from Contender Series. While we're breaking this fight down, please, guys, leave a comment below with the most significant strikes in the main event. And please hit the like button, just a little token of your appreciation. Positive comment, like button. It's free. Helps us out, helps the algorithm out if you're enjoying the video. So let's move to, oh, and by the way, we're going to tell you about a couple specials that we have going on. We have a monster weekend coming up with other sports. If you're watching this before Thursday, we have PFL plays. Jan's got a 4% cricket play that is up. We got a 5% golf play. We got multiple golf plays that are up. Big weekend, and we'll tell you about a buy 3 days, get 3 free special here in a bit. But let's get to Dennis Buzukja and Mr. First Round, Marcio Barbosa. What do you make of Barbosa and Buzukja?
This is a slam dunk for Barbosa.
Okay.
Dunk for me. I am very, very high on the Barbosa side. I think he's going to be fine getting out of round one. It's not like they gave him somebody who is a volume monster or is a cardio monster. Yeah, we can question his ability to go deep in fights, but again, we got to look at the opponent and say, can they take advantage of it? I don't think the volume output of Buzukja is going to be a problem in round 2 and round 3. Say he doesn't get the finish. It goes to round 2. What's Buzukja going to do to enforce this? He's going to start wrestling? Buzukja never wrestles. He's bad at it. Okay? He's never been a good fighter. I don't know why they keep him around. I guess to just build up other people. His win.
Word on the street is this man comes from money.
We have some investment opportunities.
Word on the street is this guy and his family had some. Not that UFC would ever just do something or keep somebody around for money.
They never let the princes fight from other countries for no reason.
They would
right?
never do that.
Little Otman Zatar moment or two, right? Potato Man.
Yeah.
Let him sneak
anyway.
in.
That's
so
what
his
the streets are saying.
His win of the UFC is over Conor Matthews, who is a slam dunk perennial fade. Keep in mind, this is the guy who fights out of his grandmother's basement. Who I forget who our guy was in the chat. Remember, who had some inside info on Mr. Conor Matthews. Now we know where we're at. He gets the win. Other than that, he looks horrible in all of these fights. Absolutely horrible. Sean Woodson beat this kid from pillar to post and could have ended him whenever he wanted. And instead, he busted up his insides with this body work. What is going to happen when Barbosa touches this guy? Barbosa is way more physical than any of these 3 numbskulls that he has fought and lost to already in Francis Marshall, Jamal Emmers, and Sean Woodson. I think it's a slam dunk for Barbosa. I think it's Barbosa by finish as well. I don't doubt it. At this point, this guy is a finisher by nature.
So he's the biggest favorite on the card. What's dangerous about it is you're probably not betting him on the money line because he's so. Let me check see what the line at the time of recording it. Yeah, he's minus 520. So you're probably having to put it in a parlay. If you are at all worried about him gassing because all of his fights end in the first round and you're like, okay, listen, his striking defense ain't that great. Damon Wilson was able to land some shots, but I think his durability is fine against someone like Buzukja. But if you are at all worried, what you can do is if you're going to use him as a parlay piece, you got to use it with a fight that takes place before him. If it gets into round 2 and you're worried about him getting tired and you see Buzukja weather the storm and now he's moving away, now you can parlay it. But I would not parlay Barbosa with something that happens after it on the fight card. That way you give yourself some out. So if there's, let's just say you're like, oh yeah, Siraj runs through him. You parlay Siraj with Barbosa, and then you have an out on the live bet because you're probably going to end up with pretty good plus money on Buzukja if you see Barbosa start to gas. I agree with you that Barbosa's striking is just incredible, and this guy's been in 19 pro fights. It's not like he's 5-0 or something like that. He's 27, been in a lot of fights, and I'm with you. Buzukja just He just doesn't do it for me. I will say this, like Jamal Emmers finishing him was kind of weird because how bad Woodson beat him up, and then
Correct.
I gotta say, Francis Marshall, it was a split decision. I thought Francis Marshall pretty easily won. Buzukja looked fine at the end of the fight. Like it's like his cardio is okay. He just doesn't have the skills. He can't get the takedowns. His striking just isn't there unless you're fighting Connor Matthews. So I
Striking
think
defense is a problem.
both these guys have big striking defense problems, but Barbosa just hits way harder. So you're just looking at Barbosa and probably getting the finish. If he gets the finish early, you're good to go. But again, leave yourself some outs, parlay him with something that happens before. If you get that first leg through, then you can protect yourself. We're moving on to Thiago Moises and Gage Young. What do we do with Thiago Moises? I can't wait to hear your opinion on this fight.
Well, I've had success with Thiago throughout the years here. And I can say throughout the years because this guy's been around a while. Look at the amount of UFC fights.
Yeah, him being 31 is truly insane.
It's pretty nuts to think about with this much UFC experience.
I logged in. I was like, this guy's got to be pushing 40, and it's like he's pushing 32.
Yeah, like technically he's in his physical prime, but this is a lot of wear and tear at the highest of high levels. It's a lot of professional fight camps. So I do think there's an element of wear and tear for Thiago Moises. What we've seen from him is his striking has improved. His chin certainly hasn't, but his actual striking has improved. So the question becomes to me, and it's really simple, can Gage Young hurt Thiago Moises? My answer is 100% yes. So that gets me off the Thiago side. Where I think Thiago can have success is going to be in the kicking game against Gage Young. What we've seen from him in his UFC fights is a poor ability to dictate range. So if Moises can keep on the outside, work the leg kicks, work the body kicks, which he has fantastic body kicks. I don't think you're really worried about getting taken down if you're Moises. The grappling, he should have the advantage over Gage Young. So he should be able to fire those kicks away. If it's very apparent to me early on in this fight that Gage Young does not have an answer to the kicks of Moises, it's a bet on Moises. If it's apparent to me real quick that this is going to be fought in Gage Young's distance, I'm live betting Gage Young right there. I'm not making a bet before this fight. For the purpose of the video, I'm going to stick with the win-loss of Thiago Moises and say that he's due for a win. But this is a great live bet spot. See whose fight this is going to be in the first minute and a half, 2 minutes of the fight. You're going to have to bet early. We know about the feed being 45 seconds behind, a minute behind. But just look at the distance range management. And whoever's having success there is going to win this fight.
Yeah, I mean, look at the win over Milky Costa. That's aging well, but I believe that was Milky's that was his UFC debut, okay? Mitch Ramirez, brutal leg kicks. Trey Ogden, brutal leg kicks. It goes down as a decision, but that he won that fight because of his leg kicks. So who's he losing to? Benoit Saint Denis. All right, whatever. Saint Denis, Ludovic Klein. Klein's hit or miss. Mm-hmm. And then Jared Gordon. This is the one that's just got to be terrifying if you're betting on Thiago Moises because you're going Jared Gordon hit you once and knocked you out cold. And you really just got to look at that and go, man, is durability gone? And then you're like, is his wrestling defense not there? Like, is this guy athletic anymore? I struggle what to do with this fight. I will lean Thiago Moises, but I'm not betting this one. So Gage Young, much better performance against Mahashate than he had against Evan Elder. I worry that he's just kind of being brought along a little bit too fast. We wondered about that on Contender Series. Mm-hmm. This guy's only 25. This ain't like a Michael Morales 25. This is you're still trying to figure it out. I mean, he got dominated by Southill on Contender Series, and you were like, oh man, they made mincemeat of him. But then they bring him back. Elder takes care of him. It's a good win against Mahashate. He's improving. Can he wrestle Thiago? I don't know. Can he strike against Thiago? I don't know. Can he handle the leg kicks? I don't know. There's just a lot of unknowns. no reason to bet it, in my opinion. I'm with you. It could be a really good live bet. You could know pretty quick in the first round if Tiago's there or not. If Tiago looks like the older Tiago is laying in the leg kicks and staying out of range of Gage Young's wrestling and Gage Young's striking, then yeah, Tiago probably rolls the young guy. But if you're like, oh boy, Tiago's old, it could be a short night. Yeah. So, all right, we're gonna get to a fight that I think worries Jim that everyone's on one side, but we do want to tell you about our buy 3 days, get 3 free special. We're running at Wager Talk. We've been running it. They've been running this for like a couple months, and it's so popular that we just keep running it. So multiple sports and multiple 4% plays. NBA playoffs are here. Had a really nice cash in the NBA on Tuesday. We're recording this on Wednesday night. So we're running hot in that sport. Cricket department is on fire. Jan has a 4% play up for Thursday. Probably have some more this weekend. Lacrosse already has a 4% best bet locked in for Saturday. What Dana's done in lacrosse is truly incredible. If you have DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, any of the book, like he's 26-9 this year in lacrosse. What he's been doing is incredible. So there's no reason to buy just a pack or one play from us. Just get everything. Get all of our sports. You can see what we can do for your bankroll. It's going to include all of our PFL plays. There's bare knuckle on Friday as well. So if we have any bare knuckle plays, we'll be able to get those as well. And we have a 5% golf play that starts on Thursday. And you get all of our golf plays as well. So having a really good year. We've snuck into the top 5 in units gained on Wager Talk. Really proud of that. So the work's been very, very good. Had a bad Masters, but responded really well this week with some good winning days to start the week. So pretty happy with that. And listen, we pegged last week's card pretty good. Somehow we didn't lose money on Kelvin Gastelum. We kind of sniffed it out. I was like, we don't need to bet this one. We'll take some other ones. So it was a nice sweep for UFC. It was much needed, and we're looking to keep the momentum moving forward. You can get there by going to the shortcut wt.buzz/AL, or just go to wagertalk.com, click on the experts page, then click on Andy Lang's profile page. So looking forward to a big, big weekend here, guys. All right. Jasmine, you're worried about this one, aren't you?
Yeah, this seems like a layup, doesn't it? It's stylistically, it seems perfect. It's in Canada. It's on the main card. Karine Silva's underwhelming. She's been out wrestled. Jazz is a wrestler. I'm super concerned with the fact that Jazz got knocked out by a woman who knocks nobody out at 37 years old. Like this, Father Time is undefeated. Just undefeated. 37 is old for women's MMA. It's old for every men's MMA except heavyweight.
That was Fiora's last KO win since Tabitha Ricci in June of 2021. She's going the distance against everybody and knocks out Jazz early.
It was a beautiful shot. It was a blitz-in shot. I mean, I understand why it knocked her out, but it's really concerning. It's really, really concerning. And I'm not saying that Karine Silva is the level of striker that Manon Fiorot is. But she hits hard. We're not going to debate here that she doesn't hit hard. And she's dangerous on the mat. So in Jazz's success, she's going to have to be where Karine Silva is the most dangerous. She's going to have to close distance and get to the wrestling. I don't see her being able to stand on the feet for 3 rounds and win a decision. She's going to have to wrestle. And again, it terrifies me that this is the one. I'll just pencil in the Canadian. You know, I worry that Jazz missed her boat, missed the opportunity. That loss to Fiorot, that could be the closest that we ever see her get to a title shot. You know, it's very, very hard when you get to the top 5, top 6, top 10 even, and you have these setbacks at higher age. How much do you have to work to get through to the next one? Now, she lucks out in this division because nobody's interested in any of these matchups in this division. So, I mean, yeah, if she gets a win here, they'll most certainly call her up and say, hey, guess what? You're next in line. You know? But I don't think this is as much of a slam dunk as everyone thinks. Right now, the stock is low on Silva. I don't think it's low enough on Jasmine. I think she was a little bit exposed in the striking. It's going to be an issue. But, Yeah, not betting it. I'll pick Jazz as a pick, but I'm not betting on her. No way, no how. I'm going to wait and see here.
So I'm with you. Not all these Canadians are going to win, so you got to pick your spots. If they all win, fine. I'm wrong, but I'm going to have to pick against some of these Canadians just because they're just overinflated. And yeah, I think minus 310 is a curious number because if they thought Jazz was this big of a favorite, why is it minus 600? Well, Karina Silva can't wrestle. Jazz is going to wrestle her minus 600. Why is this minus 310? This feels like kind of in the middle, that like the books have a little bit of worry. I'll just proceed with caution.
Silva.
Well,
none. Zero.
That's the other thing. So what I was saying was I think Malott or Jazz is going to shit the bed and ruin a lot of people's parlays. So I'm not going to include any of them. I lean Jasmine because, yeah, if she gets it on the ground and Silva gets controlled, it's going to look like minus 310 was a gift. I won't be betting it. If I got to predict something weird to happen, yeah, it's Silva. Remember, Silva beat Barbosa on bottom by outworking her. So even if she gets taken down, she can get worked. But yeah, her losing to Macy Barber in December is not a good look. Lean Jasmine, but I'm certainly not betting it. Not at minus 310 because you got to parlay it with something, and I think it gets a little bit dangerous on this card. So. All right, we're going to keep breaking fights down. We got PFL coming up, and then we got our Parlay Buster and our Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda. Mandel Nallo versus Jai Herbert. Nallo coming off of Contender Series. What do you think about this one?
Well, I'm not going to steal all your thunder on Nallo because I think you have great information on Nallo. I am going to pick Nallo, and for me, it's not even close. I'm liking this more and more as I go through the week here. Jai Herbert is withered and aged, and I don't think he's going to be able to handle the diverse attack of Nallo. Nallo could do everything. And again, 37 years old, a lot of wear and tear, a lot of damage from Jai Herbert. I don't think he's ready for the firepower that's going to be coming from Nallo. You go ahead and give us your breakdown on Nallo. Nallo's the pick for me.
So Nallo was on Bellator. It wasn't great. I mean, losing to Piccolotti and Nick Brown, just not good looks. And he's reinvented himself. He's another guy that was just kind of like in no man's land with like, I'm in Bellator. What do I do? Like, what's my next step? So he goes and he wins a couple fights on the regional scene. And then he shows up in September on Contender Series, and he's kind of reinvented his style. And what do we see? Like right off the bat, there's just kicks galore. I mean, Paulo Costa would have been proud of him. Like it wasn't just leg kicks; it was body kicks. It was all, it was kind of all over the place there. And he looks fresh. He looks rejuvenated, and he's older. This guy's 36. Jai Herbert looks way older than him and fights way older than him. He just kind of looked like he was UFC ready now. He looked like a professional UFC fighter that's really improved his skills and is probably peaking late in his career, but he is peaking. And his interviews, he just sounded like, I'm ready to be a UFC fighter. Dana always says, I can't use you. You're 36. And Dana was like, no, we'll give you a shot. It's a great setup for him being on a Canadian card, and he faces Jai Herbert, who just does nothing. At this point, he just does nothing. He's low volume. His fights are going the distance. Beats Rolando Bedoya, beats Kyle Nelson back in 2022. Like, there's just a lot of from Jai Herbert. This Padilla fight, snooze. Absolutely snooze fest, and it was a classic Padilla fight. Just like Padilla sneaks out the win, okay. And Farazziam had a good performance against him. He doesn't throw enough. There's nothing terrifying about him right now. Submissions, you're not gonna scare anybody with his submissions. Who's he knocked out? Kama Worthy. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. You got to go back to Cage Warriors in 2019 before he's knocking anybody out. I think the low volume rears its ugly head. Nallo walks forward, and Nallo knows, hey, man, this is my chance. Jai Herbert's had his chance. He's been in UFC for a while. You got Nallo with all the motivation, who's finally getting his UFC shot. He's rejuvenated, reinvented himself. You're going to see a lot of kicks, a lot of good stuff from at range. Nallo puts on a really, really good performance. This is one of my favorite picks because I just don't think people know enough about Nallo or know enough about his journey. And dude, do I want Jasmine at minus 310 or Nallo at minus 170? I want Nallo at minus 170.
I agree.
I want Nallo
100%.
at minus 170. I want Nallo at minus 170 way more than Barbosa at minus 520. Yeah, it's Nallo for me, and it's not even close. So, all right, Kyler Phillips and Charles Jourdain. Do we want to be the 581st show to talk about the gas tank of Kyler Phillips, or has that drum been beaten to death here, Jim?
Hold on, let me cross off the first line of my notes. Okay, let's move on.
I'm just saying, if you're watching the show, you probably know Kyler Phillips has issues with.
Yeah, look, this is a high-profile fight, and if you're a fan of the sport, you've watched these fighters multiple times. We don't need to tell you guys exactly the flaws of everybody. What I will say is this. Charles Jourdain, since he's moved up to this weight class, to me has fought like a very different guy. We talked about it on the live show over the weekend, how, we thought the trend was going to be going forward. A lot of these guys saying, fuck this when it comes to cutting weight. I am going to be healthy. And that's what this guy has done. He's packed on muscle as well. He used to be very, very twiggy, and I think he's really, really coming to his own at this weight class. What I love about him is there's no more of the floor is lava. It's not I have to be a kickboxer. I got to step. He has no problem engaging and grappling, and it's gone really well for him to embrace all of MMA and use it. It's almost like he had a light bulb go off and be like, well, wait a minute. I'm good at submissions. I can wrestle and get up. I don't have to worry about getting tired now. So all these other things. I won't talk about the cardio of Kyler Phillips. We know it's a problem. I'll ask you a question. What is Kyler Phillips' best skill?
Dancing around the outside, sticking and moving.
Movement.
His speed.
Okay. Speed and movement. Unless you're Mighty Mouse, that goes away. It just goes away. It goes away in round 2 of a fight to be able to keep that up. You are not as fast as you are in the beginning of the fight. And it's just going to open doors for Jourdain. What I don't like about Phillips is that he uses that speed, and his defensive hand placement when he's moving around the outside is absolutely horrible. The guy lives with his hands in his pockets when he's trying to evade strikes. And Jourdain, educated fist, educated kicks. I think he catches Kyler Phillips. I'm not going to be surprised to see a late round finish here from Charles Jourdain. I like Jourdain as much as you like Nallo. To me, I have no worries about him being the Canadian fighter that drops the ball.
I had this circled as my second Bizarro fight, the one that makes no sense. The one that makes no sense. Listen, these are long shots. When I'm saying Tanner Boser and Kyler Phillips, I'm saying I have to pick some fights that go really weird. I will pick this one. I will pick Kyler Phillips because I'm just a little curious why he's only plus 124. Why haven't people bet why hasn't Charles Jourdain's line been pounded? Maybe it moves a lot more once we get closer to the fight and on the day of the fight. But, if I'm looking at, what's happened to him, okay, loses the close one to Woodson. Okay, gets knocked out by Silva. All right, but Victor Henry's meh, kind of done. And then it does get a really good submission against Davey Grant. This win against Ricardo Ramos, remember he got the guillotine because he got knocked down and Ramos jumps on top of him and puts his neck where it shouldn't go. I just think that eventually Kyler Phillips is just going to be sick and tired of hearing about his cardio, and his camp is going to be like, would you stop with all the insane movement in the first round and when you're tired? Like, we all know it. You know it. The fans know it. Your opponents know it. You got exhausted against Rob Font. And by the way, we predicted the last two Kyler Phillips fights. Yes. Remember, Kyler Phillips was a favorite against Rob Font. We were like, no, we like Rob Font. And we loved Oliveira in that one. And that's what happened. Kyler Phillips wins early and then loses late. I'm just going to pick that there's something weird where he kind of fixes it. There's some weird takedown. Like Kyler Phillips does the unthinkable and goes for a takedown. Jourdain is not ready. and all of a sudden Phillips is able to control a little bit. Jourdain accepts position because he thinks he can get the sub. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, Kyler Phillips didn't use a lot of energy in the first round. And all of a sudden he's fresh enough to hang on in the third round. So if I'm looking for if I'm looking for the most popular narratives that can burn people, Jasmine with the wrestling, that's what Kyler Phillips gas tank is another one that's been mentioned, every single time. I guess Barbosa's KO power could be another one. Not all of these are going to hit, so you just got to pick which one could burn you. So I'm not trying to burst your balloon. I'm happy to be wrong on this one, but I'll just go with the weird Kyler Phillips. All of a sudden has cardio. Maybe he called up Barcelos.
That's true. We found out what his opponent was on. That's right. Yeah. Like, listen, Barcelos, I beat the crap out of you when we fought. Now you look great. What
happened?
What trainer do you have right now? Is there somewhere I can go work with this guy?
Yeah. So, all right. Main event: Gilbert Burns versus Mike Malott. Then we'll do PFL and Parlay Buster and woulda, coulda, shoulda. What do you think in the main event?
I don't believe Gilbert Burns is serious about his career at this point. I know, right?
Ooh.
Bomb drop. Like, he's got so much other shit going on, and we're seeing this over and over again with these guys. I've never been the biggest fan of Mike Malott, but the fact is Gilbert is from a different era of MMA. We could say that now. He's been around long enough that we can say it. He should be fighting in a different weight class, and he shouldn't be in a main event, a 5-round main event anymore. Why are we main eventing Gilbert Burns?
It's a weird one.
I understand the Mike Malott main event, but what does Gilbert bring to this card right now? To me, this goes down as another UFC starving 4 stars. And they're like, Gilbert, want to be in a main event? We need a big name. We'll pay you a lot of money. And they're going to trot Gilbert Burns out there. And I think Mike Malott is going to make this look kind of easy. The issue that I have with Burns, and some of you may have heard this, some of you haven't, he's been having concussion issues. He had a lot of lingering effects from his last fights that he just said it took a while to get over. If you listen to his podcast and his speech, it has changed over the years. The way he reacts to shots now, I don't think it even has to be like a thunderous knockout shot anymore to wobble him. He gets wobbled really easily. And I know Mike Malott's striking is clunky and robotic, and it doesn't look good, but honestly, it's one-time catching Burns. And don't feed me the line either that Malott can't submit Burns because of Burns's, ability in jiu-jitsu. Well, when you're rocked and buzzed and you're in a scramble and your neck goes out there, submitting would mean that you have to tap. He might just go to sleep. Like, oh, Gilbert's not going to tap. Yeah, you're right. He's going to go unconscious because if he gets one flown across the tower and he goes down, he's not going to be conscious enough to tap. To me, it's still Malott. I understand what you're saying, one of the two ball dropping, but there's so much stacked against Gilbert Burns right here, and I would not be shocked at some point if we start to see the old R word. Could have a little surprise here from Gilbert. I don't think it would be in Canada, but really, 5 losses in a row. What are you still doing around here? It could be time.
Mike Malott. The biggest thing going against him in this fight is not Gilbert Burns. It's this little number 5. I got Gilbert Burns in this one.
This is good.
Cue the Vince Young. I got one more in me from Gilbert Burns. Listen, this man has lost to Michael Morales, Sean Brady, Jack Dalla Maddalena, Bilal Muhammad, and Khamzat Chimaev. It is a murderer's row. How many of those guys currently hold the title or have held the title or are in consideration for fighting for the title? I beat Masvidal and Magny, beat Stephen Thompson. I have so many holes to poke in Mike Malott's game. It's not even funny. Let's go through his UFC career. Congratulations on the big win over Mickey Gall. Okay, whatever. Johan Lenny, yeah, that's a good one. Adam Fugit, okay, but his death gas against Neil Magny was an all-timer, an absolute all-timer. And what did we see? He did the Carlos Olberg treatment. Remember Carlos Olberg when he gassed himself early and lost? And this was early in his UFC career. In the next fight, he came out and was like, "I'm just lasting 3 rounds. I'm just going to go the distance against Tafon," and he looked awful. Well, that's what happened with Malott against Trevin Giles. But barely throwing anything, just making sure he goes 3 rounds against Trevin Giles. Okay, knocks out Radke. Okay, not bad. But Kevin Holland, I don't think he wins that fight unless he kicks Kevin Holland twice in the balls.
I agree with you 100%.
And then they just make Holland fight. This was like the Gatto treatment. Like Kevin Holland's clearly compromised, and Malott can't even get him out of there. You can't get Kevin Holland out of there, who is openly hurt bad from your multiple balls kicks, and that's 3 rounds. I don't trust his cardio at all. I don't trust his striking at this level. I think if Gilbert has a good first round, look out. I think if you can just there's something goofy, there's something weird about Mike Malott. He said something about like, oh yeah, his things came up to my nipples, like in his post-fight interview, and you're just like, what? I don't trust him in the slightest. And you're right. They love him. UFC loves him because it's like all main event in Canada.
Because he's Canadian. That's why.
Because he's Canadian, not because he's awesome. He's not. Gilbert, I think he can put a little bit of a veteran performance on him. And if Malott, the second you see Malott get tired, just know there ain't no second wind coming. Like when he gets tired, that second wind isn't coming. Gilbert, you just got to weather the early storm. And the other thing is, I think Malott can finish Gilbert Burns, but because he knows it's a 5-round fight, he's going to try and take it easy. And that's going to let Gilbert right back into it. And Gilbert has been in 5-round fights. So I have Malott to completely disappoint the Canadian crowd as a big disappointment. So I'll roll with Gilbert Burns as the pick in this one.
Why are we just going right to an under in this fight?
Because if this gets to rounds 4 and 5, they're both going to be tired and they're both not going to be able to finish. You're dead. So it just goes the distance.
Right? Send inside of 2? Like, does Gilbert push the pace on Malott and make him fight and death gas? And
I mean, that would be hilarious if Gilbert's like, I think I got better cardio than you, so I'm going to make your ass work. You're going to wrestle me?
You think Gilbert's more interested in ass kicking for 2 rounds or fighting for 5 rounds?
A 5-round, true.
Like, honestly, if I'm him at this point, I'm like, it's kill or be killed for me.
And if I don't quite get him out of there, he may be more tired than me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe it is. Maybe that could happen. I just think that Mike Malott being over minus 300 is. I don't.
The line is a little bit out of control. It is Gilbert Burns, but there are holes in this Mike Malott.
I'm just telling you, this Malott Jasudavicius parlay it's probably not going to work. I just think that's going to be whatever.
You got the stones for a Gilbert Burns Carine Silva parlay?
No, but I have the stones to protect my bankroll, and what's not worked is parlaying the most obvious ones, like you said, Johnny Walker and Dom Reyes, putting on the most boring fight on the main card. So, all right, we move to PFL Belfast. Walk us through this card. Obviously, a lot of Irish fighters on here, right, Jim?
Yeah, it's the Irish showcase. You're going to see a lot of John Kavanagh. He'll be literally switching the shirt and going to the other corner. Like every other fight, he'll be very, very busy. A lot of Irish fighters. A lot of their good prospects, though. And I use that term good. Take that with a grain of salt. It's not a really big talent pool in Ireland right now. It's a bit of a watered-down division. But some good matchups here. PFL was back to its old self last week. We had some chaos. We got out of Dodge with a W. It was beautiful. Avoided a couple landmines. There still are those landmines. So, but we're seeing much more of the PFL tradition where you don't have to be too scared about putting 3 fights together in PFL. If they're going to give us real chalky lines, I mean, we had a 3-fight parlay of Vivia Rougeau. What was our other 2? Braga And
Oh yeah, Braga and
why am I
it
drawing
was
a blank now?
I don't know, but they were
It
no
was all
sweats.
chalk, but it was an absolute no sweat, easy way to build the bankroll. So PFL's back, baby.
Oh, start going through the fights. Kelly and JJ Wilson.
So Kelly is actually the short notice replacement here. J.J. Wilson was slated to be in this spot, and they actually moved Kelly up the card. Kelly's good. Kelly's good. Now J.J. Wilson, we haven't seen him in a bit. He had to pull out of a couple fights here. The speed difference is going to be a massive problem in this fight. He gets absolutely worked by Archie Colgan. That's expected. Of course, decision. That's expected. Mads Burnell, we know who he is. He's a guy that's perennially going to lose. That's fine. But Jared Kelly is a legitimate prospect in this division. I'm going to go with Kelly in the main event. I think that he can do more on the ground, and the speed advantage on the feet against J.J. Wilson should be a big advantage for him.
Yeah,
Going down.
Yeah, tough one. I agree. I think Kelly's advantage on the ground is going to get him the win. It's going to be close. I don't think I would be really confident in betting it because there's going to be exchanges on the ground. You're like, hey, who got that round? Who got that round? This has Splitsky written all over it. So McKee and Lahore.
Blood. That's what I can predict in this fight.
Right.
It's a Reese McKee fight. That scar tissue is going to open up early and often. These guys are going to slug it out. McKee, we know from the UFC. This is his PFL debut, I believe. Didn't he make a little jaunt over to bare knuckle? Let's go to McKee's record real quick here.
I don't.
I know he was
think
trying a
went
few
to,
different
No,
things.
he got stopped by Axel Sola in his last one, and then they were just like, "Thanks for coming."
Going back to the Jim Wallhead win in Cage Warriors, we were ready to rock when he made it
Yeah,
back to the UFC again after that because he struggled with the retiring 42-year-old Jim Wallhead, and it proved throughout his UFC career here that he is who he is. Alex Lord, great striker, French striker, pretty violent, hits hard. Not picking a side so much in this fight. McKee's a big favorite. I don't understand it. If anything, you're taking the dog shot with Alex over McKee here. This could be a cut stoppage fight. This is the PFL wacky fight of the night right here.
yeah. Good friend of the show, Casey, really likes McKee. I am worried about the same thing you are. That McKee wears damage horribly, and that you like if they both land 20 strikes in the first round, I would bet a lot of money that McKee's the one bleeding and like eyes swollen, and you're like, Jesus, was that guy hit with a hammer? That's my only concern with this. Lahore's older and he's not very good, but he's got cardio. He's going to be there at the end. McKee can be pretty low volume at times. Like in a vacuum, McKee just has the better skill set, but the combination of wearing too much damage and him being a little bit low volume makes me a little bit worried. So Tyson Pedro and Yags. This is my favorite one. My favorite one by far.
Return of Tyson Pedro, the 10-5 retired businessman Tyson Pedro is back, ladies and gentlemen, back into MMA. Yags is going to put this man in a body bag. To me, this fight doesn't go. This is Yags by finish, if you have it on your book. We're talking about the PFL champion in this weight class, tournament champion, the man who ended Impa's reign. Now, you could say, unmotivated, we had this theory in the past where if it wasn't a tournament fight, you had to worry. But there's no tournament anymore. This is a full paycheck fight here. I think Yags, I think he just runs right through Tyson Pedro. Corey Anderson and Tyson Pedro couldn't be further from apart as far as their skill sets. Tyson Pedro's not going to take him down and wrestle him for 3 rounds. This is Yags by finish here.
Yeah, so Tyson retires after a horrible performance with Petrinos. I got other things to go, blah, blah, blah. And then, what do you know? He's taking boxing fights that get canceled, and then he does a boxing fight where whatever. Now he's back in PFL. This sounds like whatever he wanted to do outside of MMA isn't quite working out. So we need to get back in, and this just never goes well. So, yeah, I'm not sure what Pedro does well at this point. It ain't wrestling. It's not high volume. It's not big damaging shots. So, yeah, it's Yags. Mixon and Sheridan, fun fight. This is a fun fight.
I really like Mixon in this spot, and where it comes down to, for me, is we have a guy in the North American amateur scene, and then we have a guy that is on the European scene at just 4-0. Now, I do think Sheridan has some skills, but Chris Mixon is way more battle tested than this guy. Way more battle tested. The level of opponent is way bigger. And Mixon is still a playable number. He's still under minus 200. This guy has fought names in PFL. He's been in, he's been out, he's been in LFA. The level of competition is just light years apart for me. Now, it's always worrisome betting on Chris Mixon. He's not exactly somebody you want to lay the farm on when you actually can bet him. He does make fights close, but I do believe that this is Mixon in a pretty clear-cut win over Sheridan. I think this is a really tough step up for Sheridan. Like we said, some of these European prospects, especially the Irish ones, they're thrust on this card because that's where it is. 4-0 should not get you a televised spot on a PFL card, but the kind of lack of options.
These guys are both big. They throw hard, and it's just going to be a striking matchup. Wouldn't surprise if someone goes to sleep. Sheridan has not very good striking defense. Mixon showed he does have pretty decent striking defense. I think Mixon lands a big shot, changes the fight, maybe gets the knockout, but it's going to be fun. As long as it lasts, it's going to be fun because they'll throw hard. So, Carvalho and Casio, this fight, the antithesis of fun.
So this goes back to the old saying of don't fade shit with shit.
This is awful.
You don't fade shit with
fight.
shit. Pedro Carvalho is only 30 years old, and he's a 500 fighter almost. Okay? And I'm sure we can find 4 of those wins in this career that are pretty not legitimate. Okay?
Remember I said we'd talk about Damian Lapalus again?
Yep.
Here he is.
There's Mr. Damian. All 21 and 14 of them.
And 3. Don't forget.
Yeah, don't forget the 3.
No.
How you get 3 draws? I'll never know.
No, those are the I think those are the no contests.
Oh, the no contest. That's right.
The no contest, yeah.
Meanwhile, his opponent, Sergio Casio, he's right up there with doping no contests. How many's he got here? So we get a flag as soon as we open it up. As soon as
there's just a big warning. So
look,
skills, yeah.
Casio should win just for the fact that he's not Pedro Carvalho. I think you just play under 2.5 in this fight and call it a day. One of these two guys slips on a banana peel. The chin of Carvalho is a big problem, and the skill of Casio, he puts himself in some bad situations. So I rather like the under 2.5 at a playable number.
Shaban and Pedro, I like the dog.
Nothing.
I like the dog. Pedro's fast. He's a little bit smaller. He can move, and Shaban being a minus 300 favorite to me is crazy. Pedro being shorter actually helps him. He's stockier. He's got a good center of gravity. I'm not sure Shaban does. So if I'm playing anything on that one, it's the dog. So a couple more. Ciaran Clark and Dean Garnett. Garnett's a little bit older. Both these guys kind of rely on the same thing, which is ground game. They're both going to have some pretty good scrambles. I would lean Clark just with the age difference. What do you think?
I think I'm going to surprise you with my pick in this fight. I think Garnett is actually a little bit more live than we thought from the beginning. On the feet, Clark is very good. He's getting better, but he's 10-0 with not the best level of competition. Very good prospect. I think we just go with over 2.5. That's my favorite play in this fight. Gritty
one.
Dean Garrett and Ciaran Clark stepping up against a guy who's tough. This fight could get gritty and tough. You're gonna have to do what you got to do to win. I like the over 2.5.
I love your take on that one. Yeah, it's overs on that one. Last one, Kyle Loughran and Philpott. Loughran at minus 1,300. Good God, what do you do?
I'm so tempted to take over 1.5 because it's a Kyle Loughran fight.
Me too.
But
God, this guy's bad.
When we go to Philpott, he has 15 losses by 15 submissions.
That's almost impossible.
It is really, really hard. How could you possibly go and watch his fights? he does things that people don't do their first week of jiu-jitsu. Like after the first week, you know that you have to fight hands. You can't turn to your belly and put all fours on the ground. Fight one hand, not both of them at the same time. He just does these things that make no sense. So I'm so tempted with the over 1.5 because it's a Callum Loughran fight, and I feel like this thing's going to go the distance, and we're all going to say, it was easy money. But I can't. You can't have that many submissions on your record. And even somebody in Loughran who's not a finisher, he could just fall into one at this point. But yeah, do something with Loughran if you can. He should roll through this guy.
All right. Time for the Parlay Buster and the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Again, guys, if you're interested in joining and partnering up with us for the next 6 days, you can get 3 days, and you get 3 days for free added on all of our plays. Also forgot to mention tennis is absolutely rolling. So we got some tennis plays.
You can keep
that are
going,
up.
man. All these sports. Diversify your portfolio, guys. It's a breath of fresh air to get and learn sports that we just keep cashing tickets in. It doesn't have to be NBA playoffs all the time.
Yeah, our team is great. Dan does a fantastic job. Jan does a fantastic job. Nice job on the NASCAR win last week. So you get all of our plays wrapped up into one. So wt.buzz/AL. All right, Jim, Parlay Buster. I think we have a lot of nominees on UFC.
This is a tough one to narrow down, bud. Real tough one to narrow down here. I'm going to go with UFC for the Parlay Buster because it seems like that's where they've been, for sure, has been in these. Gosh, there's so many options, isn't there?
You want Jasmine? I'm worried about it.
I am worried about it, but is that the one? Is that the one? I'll go Moises. I'll take Moises and Gage Young. What if Moises really is washed?
Oh,
what if he gets pieced together? Like, the first 30 seconds of that fight, he throws a leg kick.
Now, hold on, timeout. It's Parlay Buster. People aren't putting Thiago Moises in their parlays.
Okay. It's got to be Canadian.
It's a Parlay Buster.
Okay.
It's what is everyone putting in their parlays? Like the ultimate Parlay Buster lad. You're picking like plus money. Like, all those Thiago Moises parlays.
Like the Thiago Moises guy. I tend to bet on Thiago a lot here.
You don't need a parlay. Like the Reyes Walker was
that would have been great.
That would have been an amazing Parlay Buster. Yeah, you got to give us an upset. Like something that's going to wreck people's
I'm going to
parlays.
fall on the sword on the 0-3 fighter in the UFC. I'm going to go with Valentin. You think Valentin's going to be parlayed? You think he's going to get steamed?
Valentin?
Once they find out how bad
is minus 148?
Well, you pick one. You go first.
I'm going Mike Malott. I think people are going to look, Gilbert Burns, he's washed, blah, blah, blah. And just don't be surprised if you're like, oh, my God, it's round 3 and Mike Malott's huffing and puffing and Gilbert Burns has got that smile on his face like, wow, this is a lot easier than fighting Michael Morales and Khamzat Chimaev. So I'll go Gilbert Burns because I think Mike Malott's going to be in everyone's parlay. You have to pick one that you think is going to be in everyone's parlay.
The only other option then is Jasmine because you look down the rest of these lines and they're really not needed. I don't believe that Barbosa drops the ball. I don't think he drops the ball against Buzukja. I love Barbosa in that fight. So I have questions about Jazz. So look, if you got the stones, just go with the Burns and the Silva parlay out there. Put a little bit on that. What's the payout on that baby at the end of the night? Because we're picking the 2 most popular Canadians to go down in flames here on our Parlay Busters.
That parlay comes out to 11-1. That would be ballsy. So
see how many cocktails we get in ourselves on Saturday night.
I'm playing it safe. This card, like we're gonna be fine. I don't need to go crazy on that. So, all right, what's your woulda, coulda, shoulda?
My woulda, coulda, shoulda is gonna be Nallo.
Yeah.
I like him more and more as the week goes on. I think he starches Jai Herbert. I think he puts him down. And this is the best number that we're ever going to see on this guy. Like, we're not scratching this number his next fight, and they're going to put a rocket ship on this guy because of his age to try to send him up the rankings here because he is fun, he is exciting, and this is a showcase spot right here on a main card in Canada. He could be main eventing the next Canadian card. That's as quick as they will fire him up the ladder.
Wow.
Think about who else is there. Jasmine and Mike lose. Might be Nallo.
That's hilarious. I'm actually gonna go with Robert Valentin because if LeBlanc looks as bad as we think he could look, Robert Valentin will look like a minus 1,000. The fact that they tried to give him Jackson McVeigh and that fight got canceled, and then they're like, let's try and get him a win. Because it's now or never, Robert. It's now or never, buddy. You can't have 4 in a row. And the other thing is you can't have 4 in a row with a loss to Julian LeBlanc, who's not very good. So I'll go Robert Valentin as my woulda, coulda, shoulda. So all right, thanks guys for watching. Appreciate it. Like button. Make sure you join in on the contest. Put how many significant strikes you think they're going to be in the main event. Winner gets a free 3-day pass. Nick, make sure you let me know either in Discord or in the comments below what your Wager Talk username. That's going to do it for us. We'll be live on Saturday with a Canadian theme. We're going to do something. We got to do something Canadian. Maybe some Molson
Canadian or Irish. We got PFL for Ireland.
Well, PFL's Thursday. PFL's
that's
Thursday.
Right. Yeah, you can't do Canadian.
Yeah.
What can we do for Canada?
There's a lot you can do for Canadian. Syrup? Do some maple syrup. We can do a lot
syrup
of things.
Taste test. Raise that blood sugar.
Something. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Good luck on your bets. We'll see you Saturday. Bye.
See you Saturday.